Again with this stupidity. Earth does not blow up. Get glasses. Their explosion happens above the Earth, where the Radamanthus would be. Kind of weird how you deleted this comment immediately after X Definitive Edition came out. What happened? Did you get some glasses and realize that their Earth does in fact blow up?
Among them was our ship, the White Whale.
Howdy folks, how are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and today I'm doing a victory lap. This is going to be a little self-congratulatory, maybe to a degree that some of you aren't comfortable with, and that's fine, but I did want to throw out there that, well, hold on, no, full stop. Spoilers for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, and the sort of broader picture in the Xenoblade Chronicles trilogy, starting right now. Because I have, in fact, beaten Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. If you want to join me on that adventure, I live-streamed the whole thing, so you can head over to the Howdy Folks LP channel and either watch those archives, or I am also trimming them down into proper Let's Play episodes and releasing those as well if you want to watch and enjoy. But I was pretty satisfied with the ending. I can understand why some people were a little bit more negative about it, and I might touch on that today, but for the most part, I wanted to call back to a video that I made about a year ago. I had originally titled the video that it's time to let go of Xenoblade Chronicles X, and a lot of people left comments on that video having not watched it, but only read the title, and that's when I realized that a lot of people just don't watch videos, and they leave uninformed comments based solely on the title. I retitled the video to what is now a much worse title, so I guess Xenoblade Chronicles X will not connect to the trilogy. Funny enough though, the arguments I made in that video are still 100% valid, and again, this is my victory lap. In Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, we learn that all of the Xenoblade games, and maybe all of the Xeno games, are connected through a multiverse that is linked together via the Conduit. Or if you're a Xenosaga fan, the Zohar, I think it's called. I've not played those games yet, but I know a little bit of the lore. Now, the Conduit is pretty explicitly mentioned in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and not really any of the other games, until now, with the release of X, where we have officially learned that the Conduit is able to link the multiverse together. And we even get a great shot of Al, the best guy, in what I thought was a pretty interesting art choice in the multiverse, right? He's surrounded by little shards of what looks like glass, and we get to watch the scenes of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, and 3 play out, and it's kind of cool. But we now know that the Zohar can be used to link all of those together, and therefore, in a way, they are all connected. But my point in my video was that they couldn't all be the same universe, which I thought mattered, and it turns out I was wrong? Yes, in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, when talking to the main party, Klaus mentions that there are an infinite number of universes connected together through Conduit, which opened the door for Xenoblade to be connected to Xenosaga and Xenogears, as well as to Xenoblade Chronicles X, through a multiverse. But after playing Future Redeemed, I kind of felt like they just weren't going to do anything with that. And to briefly elaborate on why, and I'm going to try to make it brief, it felt like they were trying to put Xenoblade and Xenosaga definitively in the same universe. Not the multiverse, but the same universe. And if you know anything about Xenosaga, I know a little. My understanding is that humanity leaves Earth to explore the stars, but then somehow misplaces Earth. They don't know where it is anymore. It's called Lost Jerusalem in that game. They don't know how to find it, which makes sense if it is in the exact same universe as Xenoblade Chronicles, because if you have humanity go off into the stars, and then back on Earth, Klaus runs this experiment that splits the Earth into two pocket dimensions that occupy the same point in real space but aren't in real space, that would explain how humanity in Xenosaga would misplace the Earth. If you go back to our solar system, you go back to Sol, you got Jupiter, Uranus, all the other planets there, Earth is just not there. There's just a void where it should be. Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2 are in these two pocket dimensions that are opposing one another and can't exist in that same real point. And then if you get to the end of Future Redeemed, where Origin seemingly recreated both worlds but out of the same type of matter, and it seems at the end of that game that they re-merge into a single planet, and you have that single pinpoint of light falling back towards it that could be Cosmos, or Cosmos if you're so inclined, then yeah, it all fits together into one big universe, which kind of made it seem like they were leaving Xenoblade Chronicles X out to dry. Because like I insisted in my now poorly titled video that came out a year or two ago, the events are incompatible. They cannot be in the same universe. The events that you see with the aliens attacking, and yes, we now know definitively destroying Earth. I feel like it's very obvious watching the video. At the intro to the game, even on the original Wii U version, I'm not just talking about the remastered cutscene, Earth blows up. You see shards of it flying off into space. It is definitively, unquestionably destroyed. Now, granted, they can change the events of cutscenes in the next game. We know the events depicted in the cutscenes for Klaus's experiment in the first Xenoblade game are not exactly how they went down, and they are different in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and the sort of explain-away answer to that is like, well, Alvis just reconstructed the event in the way that he perceived it, or the way he felt that Shulk needed to see it. But the events that we see in 2 are more accurate to reality. You could do that with X as well, but it's just so fundamentally different. The Saviorite rebels attacking the space station when Klaus's experiment goes off is incompatible in every way with these two alien forces combining and attacking one another over Earth. We now know what the Ghosts and the Ganglion kind of had in mind and why they were fighting one another, but that's just incompatible with the Saviorite rebels. It's a completely different space fight. It's a completely different circumstance for why. Like, we know that in the world of Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and I know I'm getting a little rambly here, but please stick with me. We know, thanks to Future Redeemed, that there was an Earth colonization project, a Project Exodus, but the circumstances of them were completely different, right? In Future Redeemed, it's that, hey, we have the ability to go explore the stars now, we're going to reach out into the depths of outer space. And then in Xenoblade Chronicles X, it's very clearly described as the entire world knows it's doomed, and we're just trying to get out of here. You're not getting that sort of peaceful suburban life that you have presented in Future Redeemed in X. They're not compatible. My position was that the games cannot be in the same universe. They are incompatible. The Earth is blown up in X as people flee desperately, whereas it's just sort of split into two pocket dimensions while people kind of lollygag about the stars in the Chronicles games, or I guess the trilogy. And I was correct. I feel vindicated. I'm patting myself on the back. That's the whole purpose of this video. I thought that it mattered that they be in the same universe. I was wrong. And that thought blinded me to the reality that they can just be a multiverse and the characters can just come over. Now, is that what happened at the end of Xenoblade Chronicles X, the new Chapter 13, the third act, when they go through time and space and arrive at a new, very blue world, looking very similar to the very blue world we got at the end of Future Redeemed? Are those the same world? I'm not willing to say yes definitively one way or the other. Seems likely. I will say that at the end of Future Redeemed, there is no ring around the Earth, unless we're just seeing it from a different angle, or maybe we're too punched in to see the ring, maybe it's a little further out, or maybe they hadn't decided there would be a ring, or maybe we're reading too much into the ring, but they're both very blue planets. They could be the same planet, or they might be going a different direction with X. X might be in the same well, no, we know it's in the same multiverse. We've seen that now definitively, but they might have just jumped to a universe that is still different from the trilogy. We don't know that yet. I feel like that's not the case. And the reason I say that is, I cannot imagine a reason to have the characters from X jump to a new universe outside of bringing them to an existing universe where you want them to cross over with other characters. So the question is, what universe have they jumped over to? Are they jumping over to a universe where the Xenoblade Chronicles characters are? Have they worked out a deal with Bandai Namco to have them cross over into a universe where the Xenosaga characters are? Are those universes one and the same, and now everybody's in the same boat, except for the Xenogears characters, because Square Enix doesn't play as nicely as Bandai Namco, apparently. It really does seem like if Nintendo wants to use Xenosaga, Bandai Namco will just take a check and give them free reign. I don't think they'll sell the property, because they can very easily merchandise it, and then just keep collecting royalties, but it seems like they're willing to license it. I mean, we got Cosmos in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, we had full-on references to characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Future Redeemed. They're pretty comfortable to just be like, yeah, go ahead, keep printing money for us. We don't have to do anything. So I don't know, it's possible that it's in one of those two universes. It's possible that all three of those have come together. I cannot imagine that they've jumped to an unrelated universe. And the reason is there's no reason for it, right? If the game is going to end with the characters of X being in a universe that is not the same as the trilogy or saga, or one and the same, there's no reason to have them leave Mira. Which brings me to my one real criticism of this entire DLC, and I guess I will talk about it. I haven't had time to formulate a really deep opinion. But one of the things I liked about X, the original, and this game prior to Chapter 13, is the way that this one ends, which is different than all of the other Xeno games. All of the other Xenoblade games end with the world fundamentally changed, such that if you go back into it after the fact to do side content, you really have to not think about how the game ends. Because if you're helping build up Colony 6, if you're helping restore peace around All Rest, if you're helping build a potato patch in Ionios so that different characters can be better prepared for the future and take care of themselves, if you know how that game ends, you know it's just a waste of time. The world is fundamentally changed after each of those games, right? Colony 6 basically doesn't exist anymore after the event. I mean, I guess, to be fair, after the events of the first Xenoblade game, those locations do carry over into the new world that Shulk makes. And I guess if you're going to be super favorable or super charitable to 2, all of the continents of All Rest do land. Like, all the Titans land to form continents. So I guess those places carry over. Ionios just ceases to exist at the end of 3. Everyone continues on their way. I don't think anyone's leaving there with the knowledge of how to grow potatoes and being like, I don't know how I know this, but it's useful information. It's fulfilling to the soul as a person playing the game, but if you think about it too hard, you're like, wait a minute, what am I doing? This is a waste of time. X wasn't like that. When you finish X, it drops you back into the world, not at a save just before the end of the game, but post-game. It full-on tells you, we got the life hold, go have more adventures on Mira. And I like that about this game. I like that about this game a lot. That's a really cool thing about this game. And now the new postscript, the new PS, the epilogue, they're calling it, completely ruins that. I love Lynn's speech at the end of that game. I love how it sets up like, hey, we survived, we're here on Mira, we're gonna forge a new future for humanity. That's such a cool ending, and it sets up future potential games on this planet where you gotta learn, what is it about this planet? Nothing. There's nothing about this planet. It's all higher consciousness nonsense that it has to do with the Zohar, and Mira is not special. Mira is just another planet in another universe that ceases to exist at the end of the game. You don't forge a new future for humanity. It upsets me so much. And if the idea is that you're bringing the characters over to have them cross over with the wider Xeno universe, fine, I'll accept that. But I really do feel like it's sort of just, it flips the whole legacy of X on its head. X was so cool in that it was the one game in the franchise where you dropped in after the story and you continue to explore the world and continue to improve the life of humanity and everything on it. And now it's just like, no, all that work you did, all that exploration you did, all the mysteries that were set up on, no payoff whatsoever. Literally, Mira and the entire universe it is in no longer exists. Also, I was confused on this until right up at the end of Chapter 13. Elma's planet is not in the Milky Way galaxy or even in our universe, right? Because it makes it sound like she leaves her planet to go to Earth. And yes, but they clarify she is on a planet in a different universe, and her planet and her universe are destroyed, and she uses the special skell, the magic skell with Zohar powers, or conduit power, to go to Earth in a different universe. And now, not just is Earth destroyed, Earth's universe is destroyed, and they go to a different one somehow on where Mira is. Mira is in a different universe. Don't be mad at me. This is in the game. Go play the expansion if you don't believe me. It's in there. They very plainly lay that out. And now Mira and that universe is gone. Which, again, kind of ruins Lynn's speech at the end. Lynn has this whole thing about how, I don't really believe the Earth is gone. No, the Earth and its entire universe was blown up. She's like, I think other humans could have survived. Unless they also jumped to a different universe, which, maybe? Unlikely. Nah, everybody's dead. There's something magical about Mira keeping everyone alive? No, turns out that's not it. I do appreciate one thing. I picked up on this during the live stream. You can see where they're showing all the other characters and you have these little shards of what looks like glass. It's the other universes. And I noticed that each one of them portrayed the characters talking to their love interest, right? So it was Shulk and Fiora. It was Rex and Pyra. I know that a love interest, and then it's Mio and Noah. And I was like, that's a nice touch. It's all relationships. And it turns out that's because the Ares uses love, Murph. It's love, Murph. Love what binds the universe. So I thought that was a nice touch when I figured out later why that was. That was nice. That scene raises more questions though, right? I know listen, you can't read too much into that scene. But it was weird that it showed 1, 2, and 3 as different separate universes when they aren't. 1 and 2 are pocket dimensions in the same universe that are happening concurrently and then are rejoined. And 3 is not, again, another separate universe. That's Ionios. That's a moment frozen in time. I know that it only portrayed them as 3 different universes as a sort of wink and nod to fans, like, you know these games. But for a second, I was looking at that unfold thinking, this is odd. This is because these are all the same universe. But I know why they did it. I know why they did it. You're not supposed to take lore ramifications from that. It's just a wink and a nod to the fans. They have yet to explain to us why Tatsu knows what Frontier Village is. We don't know why he refers to humans as Homs. We'll never find that out, I guess. They didn't touch on that. I know the Nopon are always sort of interdimensional anyway. You know, they literally have this sage with a big fortress that travels through space and time and can link characters together to do battles with one another. It's fine. We're not going to delve into it. Nopon are weird. They're on a different level. They're on a different plane mentally than the rest of us. They seem so simple. They're just honest merchants. But there's more going on there. We don't know yet, but we never will, actually. I was going to say we'll find out, but no, we won't. That ruins the surprise. That ruins the mystery. The Nopons are just above us. We accept it. We carry on with our lives. Oh, I feel like I could just talk about this for hours. I like Al. I thought he was fun. I liked the running joke. You know, how's it poppin'? The moment they allow your character in the scale frame to do the bit was so fulfilling and rewarding. It was so cheesy, but I love a bit of cheese in my games. And it was like the most premium cheese. I would smear that all over every food that I eat. It was so good. Oh, yeah, and giving your cross character a moment of near sacrifice right at the end was also fantastic. So much about this DLC was just perfect. But it does raise questions. Questions that we're not going to have answered anytime soon. So, I know that as time passes and I have more time to reflect on it, I'll find more things that maybe don't work well or don't sit well with me. I'm still very upset that this is just gone. This is live, by the way. I'm just in the game. I've got the UI elements turned off and I'm standing on a cliff here with a few party members. I hate that Mira's gone. I hate that we're not going to get 2 on Mira. I thought it would be cool if you find out that there are other continents on the other side of the planet. I wanted there to be more fulfilling answers to the mysteries of this planet, like who built the Kaldros ruins? What's that all about? Is it just Samar? I still don't really know if I understand Samar. I'm confused by Samar. Did they build the conduit, or did they too also just happen upon it? As so many other people seem to just happen upon the conduit, and then it causes problems. Elma's species, as well as humanity, are the descendants of Samar, which implies that Samar is either seeding life throughout different universes. Well, no, I guess that is what it's implying. There's questions there. Void, I just didn't care for. It's nice to know who the Great One is, and the situation with that massive skell. I kind of thought that thing was ancient and had been there since time in memoriam, but no, it turns out it landed there around the same time humans did on Mira. I thought there would be more to the sort of shadow cats that are guarding it, prowling around that area. I thought that's not what they're called. I can't remember what they're called. I thought there would be more to that, though. There isn't. Lao is just dead and in heaven. I guess that's alright. Heaven is real in the world of Xenoblade, much like it is in the real world. Jesus died on the conduit for your sins. Never forget that. Liesel, and Neil Nail are great additions to the game, I guess. I didn't do all of the Affinity missions with them yet. I'm going to get around to it. The only character I haven't gotten in my party yet is Mia. She's still missing in action. I gotta go find her. I know where she is. I just have to do all the other prerequisites to going and rescuing her. Oh, the bit where you're in the giant cheese block trying to find all your friends on floating islands? That was annoying. There's a lot of filler in this. I feel like there didn't need to be. I didn't need it to be a substantial amount of new content at the end of the game. I just wanted some of the questions answered. I wanted some of the cliffhangers unhung. And the game does that, but it also has you fly around collecting samples of Mira. so that I guess you can recreate these horrible, horrible creatures on your new planet. So great, there'll be Balatas on whatever this new Earth they're arriving at is. That's great. They're really glad about that, I suppose. Could have done without that. I didn't need the bit where I went to go get the Nopon and rescue her. I could have done without that. Flying around trying to get all my friends. Like, just condense this. Condense it down to a shorter Chapter 13. It would have been better. Also, it didn't need to be 3 acts. You could have done 13, 14, and 15. Why did it need to end on 13? This could have all been a lot shorter, a lot more concise, and I probably would have liked it more. There's already so much content in this game. I didn't need 6 hours tacked on to the end. But yeah, let it sit with me a little longer. I'll let you know what I think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say, and I don't think that there is. I'll probably do another video discussing this in the future once my thoughts are a little bit more clear. But yeah, I was right. I'm going to rename the title of this old video. I don't know what to. But Xenoblade Chronicles... I'm renaming it right now. Xenoblade Chronicles X is not in the same universe as the trilogy. There we go. That's it. I've solidified my legacy on that one. And I'm going to link to this video in the pinned comment of that one. But yeah, I was correct. It's good to have that clarified, and now we can all move forward with our lives. Until next time, thank you folks for watching. God bless each and every one of you. Let me know how it's popping in the comments down below, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.